building an indie business in the center of venture capital. I am Alex Edmonds, also known as SupremeRumHam on the internet, and this is the Building an Indie Business podcast. Alright, so today I want to talk about Twitter. I have been using Twitter more often, and I have a new strategy how to grow my Twitter following. So I'm going to talk about why I started to put more effort into Twitter, and I have a breakdown of everything I do each day, and then I'm going to talk about what I'm working on to improve my Twitter strategy, I guess, what I've worked on, like things I've tried, providing value, and if this is working or not. Alright, so let's get into it. Why have I started putting more effort into Twitter, and why did I develop this new strategy? Mostly because I realized that it doesn't hurt to have a bigger Twitter following and to put more effort into it, because the more people see my Twitter account, then the more people that will click on my stuff and become an email subscriber, which is my ultimate goal. Okay, so on Monday, what I do is I have a tweet storm of a summary of the episode that was released on that day, right? The reason why I do this, well, first, what is a tweet storm? A tweet storm is when there's like a string of tweets that I keep replying to that are my own. So I'll tweet out saying I'm going to talk about the topic of the episode, and then I do like 1 and I talk about the first topic, then I do 2 and I talk about the second topic, and I do that till I finish, right? So why do I do a tweet storm instead of just linking to the episode? The reason why I do that is because people on Twitter, when they're on Twitter, they don't really want to leave the platform, right? So a tweet storm, it keeps people on the platform, and then at the end of the tweet storm, I have a link to the episode, and that's just to round it off. It's hard to miss a tweet storm because there's so many. I have at least 15 tweets per tweet storm, right? So they're all in a row, because Twitter has a feature where you can create your own tweet storm and then tweet it out all at once. So it's just this giant thing on someone's feed, and it's hard to miss, right? So it's better than having one tweet and that gets caught in someone's feed. So Tuesday, it's kind of random, but I tweet out something I'm working on. So like one day I added social sharing to revenue research, and so I tweeted that out, like a preview of that, what it looked like on my phone. Then another day I was working on the 404 page for the podcast website, and so I tweeted out a video of what that looked like, because I had a graphic. No, it's not a graphic, it was some CSS, a sliding element, that's what it was. And so I tweeted out a video of showing that. So that was one thing. And then I was working on Twitter cards one Tuesday, and I tweeted out a thread of how to make Twitter cards, and then what my Twitter card looked like on each of my websites. Or no, on the revenue research website. Okay, so Wednesday, I do a work in progress episode, and what this is a picture of the outline that I will be recording on Wednesday. Or no, on Friday. I tweeted out on Wednesday. Okay. And so this is a little preview of the content that I'm working on. And the reason why I do this is I read on Twitter that someone said that your current content, what you're working on now, is content for your audience. So it's a little preview, and it's a picture, so it's more likely to pop out on someone's feed than just me writing, right? Okay, so on Thursday, what I do is I tweet out my written content, links to the written content. And the reason why I only do a link is because I've already talked about whatever content before through the podcast episode. So to tweet out the written content in a tweet storm would be a little repetitive, and I don't think that is appropriate, or people would like that. I'm thinking of doing a tweet storm every Thursday for the new episode that comes out, the personal episode, like this episode, right? But I don't know, because it's a little personal, and I don't know if it'll, like, some of them will be appropriate to tweet out, but I don't think, like, truly personal episodes will be appropriate to tweet out. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. Okay, and then Friday, I do a Patreon post, and I let people know that the new episode is on Patreon. Fun stuff. And then I have an auto tweet for every time I stream the podcast, or just stream in general, so I leave those out. Sometimes I'll delete them after I finish streaming, but lately I've been leaving them, right? So Saturday is the weekend. Not many people use Twitter on the weekend, so I tweet something out kind of casual. Sometimes I do a word cloud of the transcript of the podcast, and that's just a little fun thing they can see every time I make a mistake or say something weird over and over. And that's just a little fun. Sunday, end of the weekend, lately I've been doing polls asking people what they want to see on the podcast, if they want to see me interview, if they want to see me do Thursday episodes, or just a random question. On Halloween, I asked, did you obey Take One signs when you were a kid? And the reason why I asked that is because my mom put a Take One sign out on Halloween, and I was like, kids don't obey that, right? And she was like, yes, they do. And so I used Twitter to help me win the argument with my mom, and I was wrong. Yeah, so that's the thing. And then on Sunday, I used to do a shout out to someone's podcast that I started listening to, and I stopped doing that because I don't want to be the podcast guy anymore. So I'm not going to talk about podcasting or a podcast. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. But I started to give a preview of the week's episode, just like a little thing about it being like, hey, this week's episode is about something. You can listen to it here. And I tweet out a link or something like that. One week I talked about Bill Burr because he was on SNL and people had a reaction to it. And I explained my point of view as someone who is a big comedy fan, right? Yeah. So what I'm working on is the first thing, following more people, because I used to follow only 10 people, like something like that, in between 10 and 20, and they were mostly comedians. So I wanted to follow more people so that they would follow me back. And then using GIFs, not GIFs, GIFs, in tweet storms, and that way the GIFs are more eye-catching because they stand out. I've talked about this before, but when you just tweet words, it's uniform, and you can't really have an eye-popping tweet, right? Because it's uniform, right? And so the GIF will stand out more because it's more color popping out at them, or people, them. I'm working on posting funny content just out of the blue, right? No structure to it. Like videos, every time I see a video from a funny comic, I try to post that so that I inject my personality a bit. I let people see what else I'm into besides tech. Let them find comics, and maybe other people see my tweets and they let me know that they like that comic and we start talking more, right? I'm also trying to talk with people by direct message. I have a hard time doing this because I don't really know what to say, and it could really be awkward depending on the person. They might think I'm weird or like asking them for something, but I just want to interact with them. I've been working on interacting with people through comments, usually by asking questions about their tweets, answering them, or pointing them in the direction of someone who might know the answer. So I comment like, person, do you have any insight into this? And that way I can connect them and let them know that I'm a fan of their work, right? I use lists as well. I did an episode about that in 2019, I believe, and it makes it easier to interact with people because there's no like ads in the way. And then the algorithmic feed also helps because it shows when people have liked something or when someone you follow follows this other person, and it'll show their tweets. A couple of times I've commented based on someone else following or liking that tweet, and so that finds people for me that like I could interact with and start a Twitter relationship with, right? So there's that. And also, in my tweet storms, I have started to tag people or brands to increase visibility. I tend to forget to do this because sometimes I'm not saying something very nice about a brand. Not all the time, but every once in a while, right? And for that reason, I don't want to tag them because I just might start a fight. So it's best to just avoid that. I've also been tweeting more pictures, right? So I tweet out the what do you call it? Oh, my notes. When I'm doing something visual, I'll tweet that out. Like when I'm doing design work. I'm also gonna start tweeting out pictures that say generate revenue. And the reason why I want to do this is because my project is revenue research, and I want people to generate revenue so that I can create content about their project. So I'm encouraging them to generate revenue, and then I'm going to do with the signature green of revenue research, and so that way that stands out more than the blue, right? The Twitter blue that is on the profiles. Yes. I'm also working on developing more profound thoughts to tweet out, and so that way I have more to tweet and more people will think I'm profound and then follow me, right? That's a good idea, Alex. I think so too. All right. So things I've tried. I started to tweet out what books I'm reading, but that was only like once a month, and I stopped reading and I started to write more instead of reading. So in the time I was reading, I changed that for writing, and that's how I started writing more, right? And so I stopped that. I also started to tweet out things from What's the Deal with Podcasting? Like every Tuesday and Thursday when I didn't have something to tweet out, I would just tweet out like a tip from the book that I wrote. I just like flip through pages every day. And I stopped that again because I stopped working on open podcasts and I didn't want to be the podcast guy. So yeah. All right. So providing value. And the reason why I'm going to talk about this is because you need to provide value to your audience in order for them to, share your stuff, interact with your stuff, and get more followers. So it's very important to me that I tweet out something of value and I retweet things of value to my followers, things that they might enjoy, content, courses, information. So I like when someone comments like, hey, I have this course that might help, I will retweet it and say, hey, if you need help with this area, check out this course. And then I'm also helping people grow their audience with my retweets. So when I retweet, hey, check out this course, when someone says, hey, I have a course, that gets them more exposure. And so that helps them grow their audience as well. I retweet anything someone else asks me to. So if you DM me and you say, hey, can you tweet out my, retweet my product hunt announcement on Twitter, I'll do it. Just because, we're friends. So I want to help people out. And dude, retweeting is free. Like, just do it. Period. You don't have to say anything else. Just retweet it and that's it. You'll help them get exposure. And doesn't that make you feel good when that actually works out for the person? Like, you retweet their product hunt post and someone retweets that, or they buy their thing or upvote their post, right? Doesn't that make you feel good knowing that? Yeah. So why wouldn't you? So finally, is this working? And I would say, I don't know. My follower count is going up every month, which is, my follower count. So, but my engagement, it's a big flat line. It doesn't go up. It doesn't go down. When I tweet something out, it gets like 1 or 2 maybe, and that stays consistent. But as my follower count grows, my engagement isn't growing, which is something that you want in a Twitter account, because that means more people are liking your stuff, more people are seeing it, and that will lead to more ROI for you. So yeah. I'm getting some traffic to my website from Twitter, not much. I'll get maybe like 3 or 4 clicks a week, something like that. That should grow as my follower count grows. So yeah, this is my new Twitter strategy. I'm going to keep doing it because there is some ROI to it. My follower count is growing. That's all I got for this episode. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.